And that is why the morning updates with Farish Majid always comes here, and I am always in place to let you know of what is happening in and around your vicinities, and that is why it is always very, very much important for you to be part of the show, and that is where we shall be able to also let you know of what is happening. And you can as well also let us know of what is happening in and your areas, and that comes to where you are watching us from in terms of the location. You can also let us know where you're catching us from, and I do understand some of you are catching us all the way overseas, and others from the Middle East, others in Europe. So we want to thank you so much, and also those who are catching us within East Africa but not really within West Nile. We also want to thank you so much, and for those who are catching us within West Nile also, we do not leave you, and not forgetting those within Northern Uganda. And still, Northern Uganda is still one mourning, that is the death of one of our prominent leaders, and we still really continue praying for her soul to rest in the eternal peace, as burial will be actually within the remaining few days. So I think we shall be able to also let you know what is happening that side, and really so many other things, and that is where we shall be able to let you know that why you must be watching West Nile Television every morning. That is from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Mondays to Fridays, and today is the Thursday, and that means that we are just left with one edition, that is the Friday edition, to sum up the Kokoliriko Live for this week. And as we continue running down the month, so many things are really happening. And to the parents, really, if the 5 days are there, this should be a warning to you and as an eye-opener, because very soon the children will be going back, and your neighbors already communicated that the PLE results for last year will actually be dropped. That is today, and you really want to know how your child performed, how your school performed, and really if results are released. One time somebody told me that once you're sitting for these exams and once you're paying while you're paying fees for your child, it is your child alone, but once the results come out, everybody wants to know, because the results are communal, and that is where if you want to really know how your child performed, and that communication will be also really happening today, and we shall be able to come tomorrow and let you know of some of the good schools maybe that are performed in this year's, that is UNEB examinations for PLE, and how the learners actually did it. And we are waiting to see how Arua City and West Nile at large will be doing, and we shall be able to also let you know of how our schools performed, because really we want to see our flag also being raised high. That is when it comes to academics, but in most cases our flag are still being being raised lowly, and really want to see it now fly high. And with that, really we are still waiting to see how our schools performed and how the learners performed, and really also the children will be going back not very far from now. The official date is actually indicating now less than a week, so that should also be something that you should be able to be in the know of, because very soon then your child will also be going back. The schools, I've seen some of them are opening, but which to me is quite illegal, because the official communication date has not yet commenced. But really we have seen some of the schools, most of the private schools have already opened up, and they are now that is teaching the learners, which to me is quite unfair, because really these children need rest sometimes. Why they're not performing is because they are being overworked, because somebody is coming back from school, you really come back home, you have to engage them through learning. Yet sometimes really these people have to really also ensure that they rest. So I think that communication of the release of the results came yesterday, and we are hoping to actually release the result. We are hoping to see the results actually today. So I think we are waiting, we are still following up, and we're wanting to see how our children have performed. So I think the results will be able to also let you know, and we shall be able to also really bring some of the stockholders to come and explain to us maybe how our children performed and why they performed that way. So I think that is something we are still following and up, when we shall be able to also let you know. And according to UNEB, the release of the results follows that is a successful briefing meeting between the Minister of Education and Sports and top UNEB officials. Remember last week we did have a communication where I told you UNEB results would be not released last week, and this was because the officials had not yet sat and really briefed that is the members, and that is something that actually forced the results to be pushed until this week, because in most cases results actually released, that is in the first 3 weeks of the first month. That is where we have been seeing the results of PLE being released, except during the time of COVID-19, where we did see results being dropped in another month, which was quite unusual, and where the children had to go back to school, really, where people did not think about it, but really COVID-19 also really had its own times. And that is why we must always ensure that we keep and maintain the safety precautions that the Ministry of Guidelines is issuing and telling everybody to ensure that they follow. So I think it is quite good and quite important. And that is for everybody to ensure that they protect themselves from such diseases, because really we did see how dangerous such diseases can be and what really it can cause. So I think it is quite important for people to observe these SOPs that are in place. So I think with that, really, we will be able to avoid certain diseases, because COVID-19 is still there, I believe. Yes, it is still there, it is not yet out, and we really have to ensure that we protect ourselves. And now the results will be released. How will our children perform? How have our schools actually done the exams? That is something we do not know, but we shall be able to really wait and see how far our learners are performed, because the results will be able to be dropped. That is today. I hope by midday the results will be out and you will be able to actually access. And for those of you who have really completed their school fees, you will be able to access the results of your loved ones via phone, because there are so many guidelines now in place with the development technology. You will be able to really see your child's results from the comfort of your phone. So really, you do not have to wait and really go to schools and really see how you perform. But for those who still have school fees balances, the same IT technology also is blocking you, and you will not be able to access that is the results of your child. And if you have not completed the school fees, then definitely the school's accounts will be able to be locked. So I think with that, then definitely you will not be able to be in place to see how your child has performed and how your school has performed. And maybe that would also really put you to a wait, so that you first complete the balances, and with that, really, you will be able to also really be able to really see how your child has performed, and maybe how your siblings, how your sisters, because sometimes the results, as I said earlier on, once you're setting them, they are yours. It is you to go to school. It is your parents, or maybe your guardians, or your brothers to pay for your school fees. But once the results are out, everybody's eyes is on you, because they want to see how you are performed. So I think really we are waiting up, and we still hope our children are performed very well. And this is our prayers, really, because most of the times it is now some years where we have seen our schools not performing very well. And really, as a city, we hope this time round our children are performed very well, and our schools have done quite well. So really, that is something we are following up. And moving away from that, and in another story here, there's a gun that has been required in Arua City with 18 bullets. That is really quite shocking, and but really want to commend the security operatives led by, that is the Deputy Resident City Commissioner for Central Division, that is Ham Ezamam Zamil, together with the other leaders, for ensuring that this gun is actually recovered, because really some of these are the guns that are being used for terrorizing community. And once these guns keep on circulating among the society, that is where we are seeing cases of robbery, that is where we are seeing cases of people misusing the guns for killing one another. That is where we need to ensure, really, as people of the society, we need to be vigilant, because once you see somebody is within your vicinities and you do not understand what exactly they do for a living, then it is high time you could actually report this to the nearest LCs, to the nearest security agencies, so that such people are investigated. Once you report them, this is your mandate. It is you are doing your role. You're not doing that work as a spy, or maybe as somebody who has ill will for some people. It is you to protect your other people, because some of these people actually, you could be able to tell what exactly they do for a living. Is somebody living an expensive life but does not work the whole day, is at home, is sleeping, that is one indication, by the way. The whole day the person could be sleeping, resting, eating good life, but you do not know where this person goes for work at night. At night, you see them not around. These are the people who are actually terrorizing using these illegal guns. Now, the gun identified as a pistol was recovered days ago through a dialogue. So I think a dialogue meeting where issues were discussed here and there that led to the recovery of this gun. And the Deputy Resident City Commissioner for Central Division, Mr. Ham Ezamam Zamil, who spearheaded the recovery of the gun, and other groups of gangs who are having the guns come out and surrender the guns to security operatives in exchange for pardon. And this is actually something that security could do. You could actually engage these criminals and tell them, really, if you could be able to really hand over this gun, then definitely we shall be able to pardon you. But sometimes also we see them fearing, because once you go and pardon this gun, they will ask you a lot of questions, and sometimes there's also no confidentiality. So I think it becomes quite difficult. But really, I want to call upon people who are ill-hearted in the community to really desist. And for those who have the guns, really among the society, it is high time you could actually surrender the guns to security operatives, and then that would actually really greatly impact on the security of this country, because once you did not do that, then definitely it will be able to solely jeopardize the security operations, and definitely we shall be able to live in a country that is not secure, because once we really have these guns among society, then the country may be that may become lawlessness, and the country of lawlessness, really know what it means, and definitely people will start taking the laws into their hands. People will start killing one another. We shall see so many cases which may actually be able to really affect this people. So he actually rallied this people to embrace some of these government programs, such as a Myoga Parish Development Model and others. And these criminals, actually, if they were able to be engaged in such activities, and they would, if they now start seeing the benefits, then definitely that would actually really help them quite a lot. And we are talking about all this, really, these government programs that are really in place there to really help these criminals. And if these criminals actually get engaged, and one aspect I can tell you is that if they really start getting engaged into these activities and see the benefit, then definitely they will be able to also desist and move away from such practices. And then at the end of the day, we shall be able to also see that is a transformed society, because a society that's not transformed, where we're seeing criminality very high, then that is actually a society that is not ready for development, and then that is a society that is actually underdeveloped. So I think it is high time for government to actually engage such criminals. We have seen them engaging a lot of the greater community, and this is actually where criminality has been known for. So I think the government, if it really comes out clearly to help these that dangerous groups, then we shall be able to actually see a society, then we shall see a reduction in crime rate, because some of these boys who are actually involved in this criminality say they do it because they have nothing to do. And at times really you have to understand also, because sometimes you move to them and you really see somebody has nothing to do, the jobs are not there, the skills that are meant to give them are sometimes lacking, and they also sometimes lack the necessary equipment and capital to start off after the training. Then definitely that also really forces them maybe to go back and involved in these criminality activities, such as really theft, because theft is one where we have seen a lot of young people being involved in. And today, if you really look at how young people are getting engaged in that is criminality of theft, then you will be able to actually get scared, because they are using so many dubious ways. Now we are seeing them using motorcycles for snatching people's phones. We are seeing them using these same motorcycles for grabbing women's handbags. Then really it is becoming quite difficult. So I think government needs to come up and clearly lay new strategies for supporting these communities that are involved in criminality. And with that, really, we shall be able to also see a transformed society. If you remember early this year, the worship, His Excellency, that is Mosaic Kemis, the mayor of that is Central Division, called upon the youths of his area, that is Central Division, to actually be transformed this year. And one way we could actually transform these youths this year is involving them in these government activities, such as these government interventions to elevate masses out of poverty. For instance, PDM that is still running, and which is the recent Myoga that is also still there. And then these are ventures. Maybe if we first sensitize the locals, these bad people, and tell them, you know what, let's move away from these bad practices. You could actually earn a lot of living through using these means there. So I think it is high time for government to really come out and support these young boys through such activities, and then that would actually really also be of great importance to them. And one reason actually these programs have been failing is the aspect of involvement. And really with that, we are going to be first running for a short commercial break. And once we return back, we still have lots more, and we shall be able to also expound on this discussion. And in case you're just joining us right now, feel free to drop your comments and let us know what you think and maybe where you're watching us from. And with that, really, we shall be able to also share your comments here and there. And this is the show actually that is there to also digest on some of the issues that may be happening in society. But for now, allow me running for a short commercial breather.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break, and we are still continuing with the Kokoliriko live show on West Nile TV. In case you're just joining us right now, you are most welcome aboard. This is the show that will definitely have an impact on you as a person, because it is there to update you on what is happening in and around the country. So with that, really, allow me to welcome you onto the show. And for those of you who kept right from the time we began, we do appreciate you, and really thank you for those who actually dropped their comments. And on some of the comments that we are seeing here, we have Ofoiro Samson. He's saying morning, and we are really seeing him. Also, we want to also thank you so much for watching West Nile Television. I also do have Kennedy Asindu watching us from Uyenga as usual. And then Ofoiro Samson again is saying he live from Anyoya, that is Anaka Town Council. Really thank you so much, brother, for watching us. The brothers for watching us. You can also as well drop your comments on what you really think on some of the topics that we did discuss here. And now, before we did go for the break, we were talking about the illegal gun that was recovered with 18 bullets, really. And really, you know, this is a dangerous firearm that could actually harm the society. And once these things really continue existing among the society, and then definitely that will also not be good, because it will hamper, that is, people's safety. It will also destabilize security, and really that would actually not also be quite good there. So I think really that is something that government needs to come up and really ensure that guns are not among society, because some of these guns are the ones that are used in terrorizing, such as through robberies and also innocent murders. So I think these guns need to be collected, and then definitely that would also really impact on the security. And remember, as NRM is preparing to celebrate, that is that 8 years in power and providing security to citizens, and this is actually something that maybe I would call upon the leaders to ensure that they clean up, because these issues of robberies still continue to exist. We do not have wars, but we are still seeing people being murdered using these guns. We are seeing prominent people recently, that is Pastor Bujingo, being attacked. We do not know who the attempted assassinators that took the life of his bodyguards are. We have seen on several occasions where our former member of parliament lost his life, really. Also, plus other so many dignitaries. We have seen religious clerics also being that is attempted and killed using these guns. Yeah. So I think really the issue of illegal guns, maybe if I'm to make a recommendation for the government in the celebration of 38 years, then definitely this issue will be one that I would address in terms of security. So I think definitely that would actually really also drastically improve on the security. So I think as they celebrate 38 years, that is, some districts have already begun with the celebrations, others will celebrate it today. Meanwhile, others will commemorate the day after the initial date, because 26th is when the celebrations are supposed to be. But I do understand that Maracha will actually host its day tomorrow. That is at Ovujo. So I think for those who are within that district, you would actually move there and see what happens, because yesterday I was in Marchareli for a meeting that is in relation to parish development model. And really we have identified so many challenges that have been hampering really the progress of this program, where we have seen financial illiteracy lacking, where people have actually been misusing these monies because they lack that knowledge. So I think really that is something that if really these people are empowered before receiving the funds, then definitely that would actually really also make the program yield its intended purpose, because we have seen most of these government projects. For instance, youth livelihood, we have seen programs targeting women, we have seen Bonaba Gagawale, we have seen that is a Mioga parish development model, which is the recent, but all these are yet to achieve the target of that is transforming masses out of poverty. And remember, PDM now, the people who have now received the monies, the first batch, and this revolving fund is actually to be refunded. But really most of the people, more so the common people who are supposed to receive these monies, do not actually have knowledge about how to use the money, where we are seeing them misusing the monies, others using it for paying school fees, others using it for buying iron sheets for roofing their houses, which is really against the plans that they did draw when they were receiving these monies, because these monies were supposed to be put into productive use that would ensure income generation for the people. So really that is something that we did see happening there in Maracha. We did have a meeting that is for the PDM circle leaders, which attracted most of them from the district of Maracha, together with the leaders, where they did come and sit together and discuss ways to really make the people realize how they can actually benefit from this money. And we did have representatives from 3 banks, that is ABSA, we did have representatives from Centenary Bank, where these representatives came and talked to, that is the ordinary people, and tell them how they could actually make themselves realize into venturing. Some of these actually called upon them maybe and advised them also into some of the productive that is projects that these people would actually invest in, because some of these local people do not know that this money is actually meant for them, where we are seeing actually negative mindset really dragging down the efforts of government to see that these people actually achieve a lot. But we have seen some people actually successful stories being shared. That really goes back to mindset, where mindset change is very, very much key. And mindset change actually in this aspect will first come with knowledge of financial literacy, but we have not seen that quite happening. That is why maybe these programs have been failing, because if you really do not tell somebody, maybe you have not advised them on the rightful use of the monies, then definitely they are going to use these monies for their own things, because they are getting these monies when they have their own problems also, and they have certain burdens, then this money comes maybe as a solution to them. But we have seen others actually just drinking the money, which is quite unfortunate. And these revelations, really, if you move down on the grassroots, you will be able to find from the local persons, and as one factor that could actually be dragging down the efforts of government in terms of ensuring that PDM is a success. And really, this is what we actually advised. We did have several stakeholders. For instance, that is, we did have that is veterinary officers, we did have extension workers really coming for this meeting, and the market vendors who we are actually targets, and these are the people who receive the PDM funds maybe, and also the rural local women and men who were actually there, plus the leaders. And this discussion really was aimed at ensuring that these people get financial literacy knowledge, which has been lacking among most of them. And most of them really, if you have to move among the banks, and one revelation that is actually happening that is true, some of these women, it is their first time to actually access bank, and really which also came with a lot of anxiety and a lot of excitement. And this is where people have been misusing the money. And really we have also seen so many issues being talked about the PDM and maybe why it is failing. And for the PDM leaders also, one challenge that was attributed to them is that some of them have become bosses and kings and queens in their villages, because they are the ones necessary for signing the documents, and now they're threatening people whom they're supposed to lead. If you do not give me money, I will not put you on the list, your name will not be on the list, and I will not assign you to sign these monies. And they're really asking for money from the ordinary people. Really, you wonder, because this money was meant to benefit that ordinary poor person in the village, and once you start extorting monies out of them, then definitely PDM may not realize its intended purpose, and it may fail, just like the other government projects that didn't really yield much. So I think it is high time, if financial literacy knowledge is given to these people before disbursement of the funds, then definitely we will be able to also realize government's role, maybe its intended purpose of that is socio-economic transformation, because really government wants to ensure that everybody is involved into the money economy and everybody at least has something in their pocket. But really once we are seeing people misbehaving and just drinking the money, then definitely that would also really put government efforts of ensuring that people move out of poverty into waste, and definitely we shall be able to also continue swimming in the poverty that we do have. Because really, if you have to look at West Nile, we are at a good geographical location, and really we are seeing so many people actually coming from outside and tapping into this opportunity that our people are not really seeing. We have vast land where people, if they had involved themselves in agriculture, then definitely we would be seeing people actually making a lot of monies, because agriculture really has a lot of monies where people could actually really get themselves eating from, because people have to eat on daily basis. There's nobody who would want to really be hungry, and everybody wants to eat, and that is why food production must continue going on. And yesterday I did advise, that is the people, the farmers who are involved in production of these cash crops, as a result of that is the drop in prices. That was really something that we did talk about yesterday. It may be complaining about the prices. I did tell them maybe if they could actually really get themselves involved into agriculture, then definitely that would also really help them transform their lives out of poverty, and they will be able to realize that the dream that they have towards that is socio-economic transformation is actually achieved, because people have the vast land. Maybe sometimes it is because they lack the knowledge, and now with the knowledge of financial literacy, we expect the leaders who actually got this knowledge not to keep the knowledge to themselves, and we expect them to also extend the knowledge to the rest of, that is the beneficiaries, because really government is doing that, so that everybody would actually benefit and realize they could really also move out of poverty, because poverty is really a challenge. And really we are seeing West Nile in particular being said to be second among the top among the top sub-regions that is in the poverty, and now some people are actually saying we are next to Karamoja. But now, really, in my own opinion, I believe we are not more than, we are actually after Karamoja, because the Karamojong may have cattle, may have the number of herds of cattle, but really come to our poor person here, our poorest person doesn't even have chicken, which really to me is quite unfortunate. And yet, if you have to move and see that poor person in Karamoja, then definitely you will be able to also see that they at least have something for themselves, and then definitely that would also really be something that we are talking about. So really I want to call upon everybody to get involved in that, in the socio-economic transformation, and ensure that they actually get engaged and active in that is in food production, because we still have the land, we have the opportunities. DRC is just around and a few meters away from most of the districts in West Nile, and we also do have South Sudan. And if we continue to produce food, even if it is in surplus, we can take these countries, and the market, I must assure you, with the Arua city coming on board, most of these neighboring that is the districts around the city would actually really benefit a lot from these opportunities, because housing, in terms of housing, these people would actually really venture into such projects, build houses. People would actually come and rent them at prices that would actually bring for you monies. And then these are businesses where financial literacy knowledge is very, very much key. That 900,000 you are getting would actually maybe be that fortune and transform you into a millionaire or a billionaire perhaps. So I think it is high time that if these people get involved in that is food production, then definitely that would also really help improve them and really elevate their lives out of poverty and ensure that they get that is out of poverty, because the poverty continues to bite harder each and every day. We are seeing our people still very, very poor, and really we are seeing our people still very miserable. The grass-thatched houses still continue to be within our villages. Really, that is something that we should ensure that we really work towards, because if we still continue being in those grass-thatched houses, then iron sheets are coming, and they are really coming at lower prices. The prices continue dropping, and then that should be a challenge to you, actually, to ensure that you get this money and put it into proper use, and that would actually really help you. Because one factor for that organization of the meeting was actually identified, and really the leaders have said most of the times these projects have been failing because of lack of knowledge on financial literacy. And financial literacy is actually something, if I'm to explain to you, it is just your knowledge of how to use money. How do you use that money, the money you have? Do you plan for it? Do you do savings? Do you save part of that money? And that is where the aspect of financial literacy falls and comes in. And really, if you really ensure that you just get money and misuse it like that. We did have somebody saying, I used 900,000, but the 100 something I used for drinking, and really somebody is drinking 150,000. And you really imagine if you bought something with that 150,000. For instance, a kilogram may be a sack of cassava flour, and you really took it somewhere to sell. Then definitely that would actually earn for you more monies. And then the second time you could go back and really buy the same, and then we would really see you getting money for yourselves and for your pocket plus your family. So I think it is high time really for people to start ensuring that they get involved, that is in the money economy through these several projects. And remember, NRM is commemorating that is 38 years in power. And one of the goals that that they are spearheading ahead of these celebrations has actually been involving everybody, and everybody should be involved, that is in the money economy, because really we have been talking about socio-economic transformation, but where everybody is not involved, then definitely the involvement of everybody becomes questionable. So I think it is high time for everybody who is actually a beneficiary of these PDM funds to really put them into proper use and really ensure that the intended purpose by government of disbursing this money is achieved. And according to information that we are also seeing, most of the districts have actually received, that is about 95 plus of the monies that they're supposed to be receiving in the first disbursement. So it is now upon everybody to ensure that once they receive this money, it is a revolving fund, but some of the times people do not know that this money is actually meant to benefit everybody. They think it is their money that they can use for marriage. We have seen people being called PDM. People are producing children, and the children are now being called PDM because the monies that they got, they used them for other purposes. They bought clothes, which is quite unfortunate. We really see in the villages somebody becomes a big don, buys quite expensive clothes, buys expensive shoes. You see somebody becoming a don and really starts sponsoring people in these drinking joints, which is quite unfortunate. You have received this money to really help your life out, but you want to help yourself out for a quite short period of time, then definitely that is quite absurd, and that would actually not also ensure that government attains its intended purpose of these monies. And that is where financial literacy is very much key. And I think, just like me, I also believe so many of you must be thinking the same. Most of these projects have been failing because of lack of training. Why am I saying this? You are giving somebody who has been hungry for money, who has been desperate in need of money, and you tell them, use this money for changing your life. And the person doesn't know what kind of business and maybe what kind of investment to do with this money here, and then definitely they will be able to also really go back and start using this money for helping themselves in terms of their various needs. For instance, buying clothes and also drinking and maybe marrying, because this is what you told them. And that is where teaching these people, just like what Maracha district did, is something I also want to call upon the other districts to ensure, because these financial institutions are there to give these people the knowledge. The extension workers are there, you task them, you bring them on board, call for a meeting, and the media is actually there. You call upon us, we come and talk to these people and we see them, because really we have seen so many of these government projects failing. And one way we could actually ensure that these people realize the benefit of this money is to do financial literacy. So I think this is something I also want to call upon the rest of the districts to to ensure that they actually get involved into these projects. And this is something that would maybe at the end of the day also help people transforming their lives out of poverty. And really with that, really, as we are heading to that is the 38th celebrations prepared, Arua City is preparing, and yesterday we did see a number of stakeholders joining hands to clean up the city ahead of that is the 38th celebrations. And Arua City local government leaders, technocrats, plus that security officials together with the South Sudanese community members. Remember, South Sudanese community members also, I must tell you something, they are really preparing for their festival, which is quite very soon. They have cultural festival that is supposed to be taking place at Arua Primary School playgrounds. That details I will be able to also really explain to you when the right time comes, because they have to really come together, and really that is something we are waiting to also see. And now as NRM is preparing to celebrate the 38 years, they were actually part of this cleaning exercise. So that is something also really want to commend them for the good job, because we have to work together. At the end of the day, we are one people, so I think we have to work together and support one another and really ensure that the day is a success. And that is something also really we are following up on. And now the resident district city commissioner, Mr. Charles Ichogor, who actually led the team, said this cleaning exercise is supposed to be in preparation and ensuring that everything is organized and there's sanity that is in Arua City ahead of that is the 38th NRM Celebration Day celebrations. And that is something also really I must say is quite good. Joyce Amagud, the Arua City NRM chairperson, took the opportunity to appreciate all stakeholders for cleaning the city ahead of the NRM 38th celebration. So I think that is something also I must say is we must call upon and ensure that we do, because really once we do not get involved into cleaning the exercise, nobody is going to come and do it for us, and then definitely we shall be able to also really celebrate the day in a city that is quite dirty, in a city that is littered with so many garbages. We have seen garbage really becoming a challenge that is the city. If you move to some of these places, if really market, you will see sometimes garbage being dumped there. Then you move to the city, just along Hospital Lane, there's a garbage plant there. I don't know why it is happening that way, but really it looks awkward sometimes to see garbage in the city, which is littered. And then most of the people also dump garbage in these trenches, which is quite unfortunate. That calls for mindset change. Really, you see somebody moving from wherever they are, they come and dump garbage in the city. And then definitely that is something also we must really also ensure we desist from. And then the cleaning exercise was conducted by stakeholders. It is meant to ensure proper hygiene and sanitation, because once we do not really ensure that the city is clean, then we are seeing threats of diseases, for instance Ebola, which can come anytime. Then we are seeing so many other diseases. Really, that is why we need to ensure proper hygiene and sanitation in terms of garbage disposal. We need to also ensure that the government also comes in place and sensitize the locals and puts up proper structures, and maybe ensuring that the laws that are in place are fulfilled. Whoever is caught with garbage dumping maybe in the trenches is arrested and brought to book. So I think that will also really be as a warning to those who would actually continue doing the same. And that is why we need to ensure that our city is clean at all times, and also protect, because this will at the end of the day make us proud first of all, and then definitely it is going to protect our city, also protect us from diseases, and that would also really save the government from that is spending unnecessarily in terms of treating the people. So I think it is high time where everybody needs to get involved in terms of ensuring that they protect themselves from this garbage disposal, and also ensuring that these districts are very clean. And this should not only be with the Arua City alone. The rest of the Western districts must embrace the same and ensure that the cities and the districts are very clean. And then at the end of the day, that would also ensure that we protect ourselves from diseases, that would also protect our loved ones. And then at the end of the day, that would actually be of great importance, because once we do not protect ourselves, then definitely that is something that may also have a negative impact on the society. And that is why I want to call each and everybody within this period here. Remember, we are still in holidays, children are with us, the numbers are quite huge, and then this is the time we must ensure proper sanitation and hygiene maintenance, and that would actually really also ensure that we are safe and protected from certain diseases. And this is something I must call upon everybody to ensure, because it's a collective role. And as I said, where we are home and diseases emerge, you remember, really it becomes quite absurd. If you really saw what happened during the COVID-19, this is something I believe everybody would not want to pray for. And really with that, we are running for a short commercial break, and then when we return back, we shall be able to pick up with the conversation from there.
Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.